lot to talk about, Heat fans. And on today's show, DeMar DeRozan, Caleb Martin, and Tyler Herro are what we are going to talk about because the rumors surrounding DeRozan continue to grow. Caleb Martin, could he return? It's actually going more likely. And then we'll round out today's show by discussing some Tyler Herro trade rumors as well. But make sure you do have your notifications turned on because this is a very pressing time around the Miami Heat if they are going to make a move, if they won't make a move. Well, if they do make a move, make sure you don't miss the video of us breaking that news to you and breaking down said move because you got to be locked in with the Heat. So if you're subscribed, make sure you have your notifications turned on and click that bell icon to all, not just personalized. And if you are not subscribed, I don't know what you're waiting for because we bring videos on a daily basis. All right, Barry Jackson with the latest nugget here on DeMar DeRozan. This actually came yesterday afternoon after initially breaking the story that the two sides have discussed potentially joining forces. But Barry said that after initial discussion between the sides, a Heat follow-up on DeRozan is expected in the next 24 hours. There's no indication Miami would move mountains to sign him, but they've said they like him, especially at a bargain. And you see the time there at the bottom. It was 4:12 p.m. That means if that is expected to be true or they're going to follow up in 24 hours, we should know something, I guess, on DeRozan within the next 3 or 4 hours of this video going out. At least that's what Barry said. So I'm not sure if that is actually going to be the case, but it does feel like we are going to get an update today on the potential signing of DeMar DeRozan, I suppose. It's very intriguing to see. And Barry also added this note as well that in general, they've been eager to explore other things instead of immediately signing Highsmith and Caleb Martin, who apparently seems priced out. We'll talk more about him in just a second here. But when you think about the different avenues Miami's going to have to go through just to get DeMar DeRozan, it does feel very, very complicated and very, very unlikely. But I will say this news this morning, LeBron James agreeing to a 2-year, $104 million max deal with the Lakers with a player option, blah, 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 I don't care. The only reason why I wanted to bring this up is because the Lakers were one of the other teams that were linked to DeMar DeRozan, at least publicly. And DeMar has been out there and said, I'm not taking the mid-level. I'm not taking less than that. I think mid-level for DeMar is even egregious in its own right. Like, he's worth $18-20 million on a one-year basis at bare minimum. So 12.8, that's just not going to happen. But a team like Los Angeles, after giving LeBron James that 2-year max, they really can't offer anything for DeMar right now because they are in the second apron as things are currently constructed. Now, they could go out there and trade a Rui Hachimura, a D'Angelo Russell, a Jared Vanderbilt, and some other pieces to get below that apron so they can then sign DeRozan. But if DeMar seriously wants like 18-20 mil, I don't think the Lakers are really going to be in play. So where does that leave Miami? Well, I'll leave you with this. Either way you slice it with the DeMar DeRozan situation, if they are serious about trying to acquire DeRozan in free agency, they're going to have to trade one of Tyler Herro or Terry Rozier to a separate team. It is just not feasible. It isn't to get DeRozan on a serious contract that isn't the 5.2 taxpayer mid-level unless you trade one of these guys. If you trade Herro or Terry and you free up the 24 mil and get underneath the first apron, well then there you can give DeRozan $18-19 million and stay below that first apron or just creep into it. But that's the only possible way that the Heat actually get DeMar DeRozan in free agency is if they trade Tyler or Terry to a separate team. So give me a percentage chance that you would give Miami to land DeRozan. I don't give it too high, but let me know your thoughts down below. What is the percent chance the Heat actually end up getting DeMar DeRozan to their team? $5 foot long. 5% is what I give it. I don't think it's very likely for Miami, just because of the hoops they have to jump through. Even though if the report from Barry Jackson is true, which I believe it to be, that the Heat want DeRozan and DeRozan would be interested in joining Miami, I just think there's too many hoops to jump through. Are you going to be able to trade Tyler Herro and shed that salary in the next 2 to 3 days before DeRozan ultimately gets impatient and signs elsewhere? The only possible way I could see DeRozan coming to Miami for sure is if he gives them a commitment. I am coming to Miami on a said agreed upon price. Say we'll give you 18 mil over 1 year. DeRozan said, sign me up. You got a week and a half to get it done. Okay, then then we explore situations to free up the cap by trading Tyler or Terry. But I find that very unlikely that's going to happen, which is why I give it a 5% chance, even if both sides would like to get it done. All right, let's shift the conversation to Caleb Martin, because could he actually return to Miami? There are some reports out there that aren't ruling out his return to the 305. The reports coming in from the Miami Herald, Barry Jackson and Anthony Chang had it here. While Martin's return to the Heat was immediately deemed unlikely when he bypassed his $7.1 million player option last week to become an unrestricted free agent, multiple league sources said Tuesday night that a return to the Heat shouldn't be completely ruled out. What are the Miami Heat's plans here? Like, what are we doing? What is the direction we're moving this franchise in? Why would we bring Caleb Martin back? And there are rumors out there that they have offered a multi-year deal with $12.1 million per season. You might ask yourself, well, can the Heat even afford that? They technically can, because they have his bird rights, which means they can exceed the second apron and the luxury tax to keep him on their roster. But why would they do that? Are we going into the second apron and give us all those restrictions in our cap, in trade, in our future for Caleb damn Martin? I don't think that should be the case. And who knows if those reports and rumors of that offer is being true. And if they did do that, do they have a separate deal lined up, whether it be Duncan Robinson trade, Terry or Tyler, to free up money to keep Caleb long term? And even if they have that lined up, is that worth it? I'm not so sure, and we'll discuss more in just a second. But if you want more Heat coverage, this is the best channel for you. Hit that sub button. We are going to be bringing you daily content, sometimes multiple times a day, around the latest surrounding the Miami Heat. We're also going to be going live for some Summer League games next week, so make sure you join us for those and hit that sub button. I mean, Caleb Martin's had a fantastic career, and ever since joining Miami in 21-22, it's been awesome to see his growth in development in this Heat system, especially to see what he's been able to do in some postseasons. Obviously, almost winning Eastern Conference Finals MVP during the 2023 NBA playoffs. Like, he has been one of the best Heat role players over the past decade for Miami, and honestly, over the past 20 years, he has been exceptional in over-exceeding expectations. But let's just be real here, folks. It's simply not worth going into the second apron of the luxury tax to re-sign Caleb Martin. And I don't think I'm trading Herro, Rozier, or Duncan Robinson to keep him either. Caleb is a very good player. But to me, would I sacrifice the scoring and shooting that Duncan gives you, Rozier gives you, Herro gives you, to keep Caleb Martin? I'm simply not doing that. And I know a lot of Heat fans, including myself, are upset with Tyler Herro right now because of his likes on social media, and people just want to ship him out for peanuts. But let's just take a second here and let cooler heads prevail. Yes, is Tyler Herro probably on his way out and should be on his way out? Yes. But to do that just to keep Caleb Martin? Hell nah. I'm keeping Tyler Herro over Caleb Martin. So I am not trading any of these guys to re-sign Caleb. I'm fine letting them walk. I am, just because of the place Miami's at. You could maybe try to convince me on getting rid of Duncan to keep him, but I'd probably rather have Dunk anyway. Will the Heat re-sign Caleb Martin? You heard my thoughts on it. You heard the news as well and the reports and the rumors. Let me know what you think. Type Y for yes or type N for no. All right, let's round out today's show by talking a little bit more about Tyler Herro, because what teams could realistically take on Herro's contract in a trade if the Heat wanted to move off of his deal to re-sign Caleb Martin or sign DeMar DeRozan or just get rid of him in general? There's really only two options out there that can absorb his contract as things currently stand in the NBA. Those two teams are the Utah Jazz and Detroit Pistons. So those are the two teams that you could realistically send him to that can absorb his deal, and you just get picks back, and you don't have to get any players back for the deal to actually work. And if we're going to be honest here, why would those two teams do that? Like, sure, I like Tyler, and I think he would be an excellent fit in Detroit, honestly, to be their starting two guard and give them much-needed scoring and floor spacing for Cade Cunningham. Also a good connecting piece for Tobias Harris, Ausar Thompson, and Jalen Duren. Like, Herro makes a lot of sense fit-wise for Detroit, but the Pistons, at least where they are in their current build of their roster, they're not in the business of losing draft capital. And unless they view Tyler Herro as a piece that could be a long-term winning member of their organization, they're likely not going to give up a first-round pick for Tyler Herro. And I'm not sending Herro away for second-rounders. Like, I want to get at least some good draft capital in return because he isn't the worst player in the world. You just saw his numbers. Like, sure, he's frustrating and he can't stay on the court at times, but he's averaged 20 points per game each of the last 3 seasons, and he's one of the better three-point shooters in the league, shooting of 38, 39, 40% from deep on 7+ attempts a game. Like, he is not a bad player. But if you are looking at things from Miami's perspective and you are trying to free up salary to sign a DeRozan, I would rather trade Tyler Herro than Terry Rozier because Terry is a point guard and it would help fit with a DeRozan, Jimmy Bam trio as well. I think DeRozan fits a little bit better as an on-ball creator, distributor, and his three-point shot was improved last season, especially the last month before he got hurt with the Miami Heat. I would rather trade Tyler Herro in that perspective. It would also save more money because he's making 29, 30 mil. Terry's only making 24. Another team, by the way, before we get out of here, I'd like to mention for a Herro trade could be San Antonio. They have been longly interested in him, as well as maybe the Brooklyn Nets, but they're also a team that likely doesn't want to send away any draft capital to get Tyler Herro. And those two teams I mentioned in Brooklyn and San Antonio would have to give us a player back to make the salaries work. So you would have to pick a player that works in some capacity so you stay underneath the first apron so you could sign DeMar DeRozan, but also not really, or make it work for them as well. It's a very tricky situation, which is why I gave it a 5% chance that he'd actually get DeRozan earlier in the show. All right, that is going to do it for today's episode. Make sure you are following me on Twitter at Nick_Roloff. I'm tweeting about the Heat every single day, multiple times, honestly, probably too much, but you're going to get the best Heat content over there by following me. And if the Heat do ever make a move or a new rumor emerges, you're going to find it first on my Twitter before we talk about it over here. So go give me a follow, and maybe they make a move today or we get an update, and you'll see me with another video today. So peace out.